Welcome to this bite-sized video for the Digital Support Services T-Level, where we'll explore Task 4 for the Network Cabling and Digital Infrastructure Employer Set project. The Employer Set project consists of a series of tasks designed to assess the 5 assessment objectives shown. And this skills assessment is set and marked by NCFE, where students will need to apply the core knowledge and demonstrate the core skills from the specification. The Employer Set project, or ESP, is conducted during a 2-week assessment window, which will be available during the summer and autumn terms. And the tasks are designed to replicate the real-life industry experience, and we've used employer and industry experts when developing the ESP in order to achieve this. And this video will focus on Task 4, where students perform a reflective evaluation. And this will be assessed against assessment objectives 2, 4, and 5, with assessment objective 4 focusing on communication and the students' use of English skills. Task 4 is the final task to be completed by students, which is a provider scheduled session lasting 3 hours and 30 minutes, with an additional 15-minute supervised rest break also being permitted. If students have any access arrangements or reasonable adjustments, such as additional time for assessments, then you should apply that internally and increase the task time by the relevant amount. The assessment materials should only be accessible and available to students during the supervised session, so do take account of this and ensure you have secure storage areas for students to save their work. Students are allowed access to the internet in order to help them complete this task, and also allowed access to copies of their previous ESP evidence, except for the Task 2 interview audio recording. Task 4 is an evaluation worth 12 marks in total, but the use of English is marked holistically with its own marking scheme. So the examiners will award a maximum of 4 marks for English skills, but it's based on the performance across tasks 2, 3, and 4. And those marks are distributed over 2 activities: a satisfaction survey designed to review the solution, and an evaluation in the form of a project review. Those 12 marks are split equally over both activities, with 6 marks for the survey, and shown on screen are the highest band marking descriptors. Students will need to consider who will be completing the survey to ensure the language and questions are appropriate. They should also gather both qualitative and quantitative data, and it should gather current operational feedback and possible areas for development. Then the post-project review is assigned the remaining 6 marks, and students will need to consider their own performance on each task, explaining the actions they took, what worked well, and what could be changed, and how that change would have impacted on their performance. And adopting a reflective cycle, such as Gibbs for example, might also be useful for students. But vital as always is making it relevant to the brief and the context provided. When it comes to producing the satisfaction survey, including a purpose can be useful to ensure students are focused on the brief, and this could mostly be copied and pasted from the brief. Then who is going to be receiving the survey, and what information would be useful to know about that individual, such as which department they work in, as different business areas might face their own challenges or their own needs. And considering the audience is useful when composing the questions, and using suitable language, terminology, and contextualized examples as appropriate. And students should consider the qualitative and quantitative information that will be useful to obtain, and choosing a suitable question type to gain that insight, such as multiple choice questions, and whether they want users to choose one option or multiple options, or more simple direct questions, where users might decide if an aspect is applicable to them or not, for example, such as using certain applications or accessing resources, or a rating system such as a sliding scale or a star rating, or even a rank ordering system where users select or prioritize certain options. And the use of open-ended or closed-ended questions in order to gather feedback on their solution. For the project review, and much like the survey, the inclusion of a purpose can help to ensure it's relevant to the brief, with the audience who'll be reading this document also being considered, with technical terms and language used for a technical audience. And adopting one of the reflective cycles from their learning can aid with the self-evaluation. And they could separate out their review document into headings appropriate for the evaluation model adopted, but ensuring they mention the action they decided to take on each task and why they took that approach, then evaluate and decide if they would amend their approach next time, and how that change will have affected the task outcome and their performance. We hope you found this useful and have a better understanding of Task 4. And do see our other bite-sized videos that form part of this Employer Set project series. Thank you.